if these measures are not sufficient to slow the spread, we will we'll turn the valve more. If these numbers keep going crazy, you have some scientists who believe we're going to go back to a close down.
Don't want that. About a week away from Turkey Day, New York's Governor Cuomo limiting gatherings to no more than 10 people. At least 3 sheriffs in New York say they will not enforce the governor's order. One of them joins me now, Fulton County, New York Sheriff Richard Giardino. And Sheriff, welcome. Thanks for being on here today.
Thanks for having me this
afternoon. You're a former judge
Bill.
and a DA. How come you won't enforce this order from the...
I think the order is unconstitutional, but I really want to tell you what put me in a position to issue a public statement about it. I came out of a convenience store middle of last week, and a man, probably in his early 70s, a veteran, he had a baseball cap on, he served, and he said, "Sheriff, can I ask you a question?" I said, "Yes." He said, "My wife and I are arguing about going to our son's for Thanksgiving." I said, "Why are you arguing?" He said, "Well, she heard on TV that the governor had said you can only have 10 people at a gathering." And I said, "So what's the problem?" She says, "Well, there's going to be 14 of us, including a new baby we haven't seen in 8 months. And she's afraid that your deputies, the state police, are going to come to the house and count who's there. And if we got over 10, that my son's going to get ticketed because we're going to do it at his house. And he's going to get fined and maybe lose his job." And I was stunned that he would say that. And I said, "Oh, we're not going to do that." I said, why would you think that?" "Well, the governor said that you can only have 10 people. And I said to him, "Sir, I'm not going to be looking in your windows. I'm not sending the deputies. One, I only have 3 deputies for 500 square miles and 55,000 people. 2, it's scaring the heck out of people. There's a lot of anxiety out there. Right now, we're double the number of mental health cases we've had in the same 6 months as last year." So I felt so bad for the man that him and his family would think that local law enforcement who were there to serve and protect them would actually enter their home or ticket them.
So your police you're not going to count heads inside of living rooms, and you're not going to count cars in driveways and go knock on the door. I get it in Fulton County, well north of the city, near Albany, in fact. Give the governor the benefit of the doubt. COVID's a serious deal, and maybe he's just trying to discourage people from getting together. That would help limit the spread. What do you think about that, Sheriff?
Hey, Bill, I give the governor the benefit of the doubt. I believe he truly believes that his executive orders are meant to save people and to try to reduce the numbers. But I think your last 2 segments are kind of great lead into this. Governor Newsom tells everybody, "Hey, you got to stay home. You got to limit your contacts. You got to wear masks." And then he goes out to a birthday party on a weekend. And the only reason he apologized, he got caught. And I think most people are sick and tired of the hypocrisy of the elected officials. But I'll tell you one thing about Governor Cuomo. He was a couple years ahead of me at law school, and he's a very hard charger, and he's pretty serious about his positions. But when his brother got COVID, he felt the same anxiety, the same concerns about what would happen to his own brother. Would it be a lifetime thing? Would he go on a ventilator? So he knows firsthand how stressful living with a loved one or close to family who have the COVID. But by the same token, one of the worst things we're seeing is the isolation of people not being able to engage with other people. Now, there's a big difference between setting a time limit at bars, setting a number of people at bars and restaurants, and social distancing, and getting together with your own family. Constitutionally, there's some problems with an executive order. There's no sanctions. I can't go arrest somebody. They don't get fined. Giving them the benefit of the doubt, I believe his intent is to try to slow things, but I think it does more damage. Yeah. I live in a county of 55,000 people, and unlike the governor, I believe people in my county are smart enough to make their own decisions.
So it's good common sense. You're right about it. Listen, I think you make some excellent points, and I appreciate you coming on today, Sheriff. Good luck to you, Sheriff Giardino there in Fulton County, New York. Hope you get a drumstick. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you. Thank you very much.